Hello, my name is Manny Vila, and you're watching The Beauty Blog.
All right, so I want to start off by asking you a little bit tell me about yourself. You're originally from Atlanta. Where are you from?
Well, my name is Manny Davila, and I was born and raised in Mexico, and I am a transplant from Orlando, Florida. I've been in Atlanta for about 8.5 years now. I like it. It definitely gave me enough city and enough suburbs, so it gave me a nice little medium.
And how did you get started in makeup?
How did I get started in makeup? It was something that I never thought it was gonna be a thing, first of all. But I started by playing in my friend's makeup. I will do her makeup. She had all this kind of MAC makeup and I would just play with her face. I was like, let me paint your face, and that's where the itch started for me. And I think I was probably around 17, possibly 18. And my friend owned an agency, and I told him, I was like, why don't you let me do makeup for you guys? I know how to do makeup. I had only done makeup once. And he thought that I was crazy. I showed him some pictures that I have done with my friends, and with her specifically, with this best friend of mine. And he gave me the opportunity to work with him. He worked at it was a talent agency in Orlando, Florida, that hired dancers, actors, and that's how I started experimenting by messing up. My career started with cosmetic retail. Once again, I never thought it was gonna be a thing. I thought I was stepping backwards by me going into retail, because that's not something I wanted to do. That's something I had dabbled into when I was 17, 18, and I didn't like it. It's something that I was like, it's not for me, it's not enough money. So when I moved to Atlanta, I said I wanted to try something new. I came over here and with no plan, really. I just came, I wanted something different from Orlando, Florida. And I knew that my friend told me, why don't you try to pursue makeup since you really like it and it's something that you've been practicing on people. And it was a hit. I feel like now I can look at it 8 years later, and makeup is something that found me. It's not something that I found. I wasn't hired by any. I started with MAC Cosmetics. That's where my career started, as many other people, so I'm a MAC alumni. And I didn't think I was going to get hired because I tried so many times with MAC Cosmetics and they never hired me back home in Florida. So when I came here, I gave it a try, and I tried to every single store in the city, every counter, and eventually I was hired by this guy that saw me asking for an application at the MAC Cosmetics at Perimeter Mall. He told me he was a retail manager for Nordstrom's MAC, and he said he was looking for a boy. He liked the way I look, and the rest is history. I think that's where I feel like makeup chose me. What is a good way to start with makeup as a career? I don't know if there's a good way or a wrong way. I feel like as me, I was playing, like I said, I was playing with my friend's makeup, and I never knew that almost a decade later I will be here. I would be paying all of my bills and make it into a career. I went against all odds. Everybody told me, what do you do for a living? And when I say makeup, they ask me, well, how do you pay your bills? So I never thought that makeup will be a career, first of all. But, so I don't know if I know the right way to start makeup. But I would definitely think a good way to pursue makeup is to just be 100% happy with who you are. I think that's something that gave me the confidence to say, you know what? I'm gonna go into retail and I'm gonna learn as much as I can so I can learn from it. So I think my start with MAC Cosmetics was a form of a school for free. And I was getting paid, so I was able to pay my bills. So I think if I was to tell somebody that's just starting in the industry, I would definitely tell them to start in cosmetic retail as well, and not to, think that it's kind of going backwards in your career or backwards in whatever you do. I know people that have been engineers and they had to go into retail, but the retail cosmetics is a way to introduce yourself into brands and to introduce yourself into different kind of trends, into different kind of, I don't know, it was working in Nordstrom was a really eye-opener for me that, the world of MAC was just the beginning, and I was able to test so much more. During my time with retail, other brands that I tested was, I played with Bobbi Brown a little because they were right across from me.
Yeah.
Which is where I met you.
Yes.
I played with Bobbi Brown, NARS. I played with some Chantecaille. I played with some YSL, Chanel. Luckily, working at another high retail store like Nordstrom, it welcomed me into doing more of the upscale makeup, which thankfully, I couldn't get anywhere else but in Nordstrom. So that's basically where it all, like the other brands that I was able to test.
So in terms of the market in Atlanta for makeup artists, would you say this is a good time for someone to explore that career?
I think it's a great time right now. From when I first moved into Atlanta to where Atlanta is today, we are not number one. Oh my God, they're gonna hate me for this. They're gonna hate me for saying this on camera. I think number one, I think it's a great time to be in Atlanta because the market in film has grown tremendously. We're not only number one in the nation, but we're also number one in the world right now for film, which I think is fantastic. So I welcome a lot of people to come to Atlanta and test out the waters because if you can make it in Atlanta, you can make it in bigger cities like New York or LA. So it's a great time.
Good. And what would you say is the major difference between working on set and working in retail or working with a private client?
Working in freelance? The big difference from working between retail, freelance, and working into production film is, I think if I'm speaking from a point of view now in the past 5 years, I've been blessed to do a lot of productions now and get some of that, production joy that's coming into Atlanta. I think the difference is just the freedom in the artistry. What I've learned coming from retail, where you get to deal with your everyday women and learn as an artist, to going into freelance, to working with either celebrities or reality non-scripted TV onto scripted film and a series, was just the kind of artistry that requires. It basically molded me into different kind of artist. But it was great because I was growing. I didn't know nothing when I started with retail. And then I started learning when I started with reality TV. And it gave me that kind of, technique of the huge, now very popular Instagram beat, and then I'll go into film and scripted TV, and it was more structured, if that's the best word I can use for it. It was more structured, what I call, your everyday car makeup. Making sure you're building a character, you're building a story. So that's the difference in between the three.
What would you say is your go-to look, or what's your favorite look to create on a client?
My favorite look to create on a client, I think that has changed as I've progressed in artistry, because when I first started with Mac, all I knew how to do was just, what they call back then the Mac eyebrow and the sculpted brow and stuff, and then I started doing reality TV, and it was that green screen kind of makeup. So I wanted that heavy look that you can do, which helped me to transition into the stage makeup for when I was working with singers on stage. My favorite look today, I will definitely say, is more commercial, because I've learned that that's what makes you money. That's where the bread and butter is, where you work with commercials, when you work with your everyday woman that, or actresses that want a little more than from being the character they play on TV. And they want to be very, classic, clean beauty. And I think that's where the money is. So today, for my artistry today, my favorite look is definitely classic beauty, just clean. Where I start with my makeup is definitely with skincare. I'm a big skincare freak, and I like to make sure that my skin is well prepped for it to do what I want it to do. Even when my clients come to me with I clean my face and I moisturize. They know this, and whoever watches it, they're gonna know that it's true. I tell them, well, we're gonna start all over. Because I know what products I use for skincare. I trust the brands that I trust for skincare, and I know what it's going to do. I like to work smarter, not harder. So I make sure that whatever I'm doing, whether it be for a photo shoot and needed for 1-2 hours, whether it be for a bridal, whether it be for, which I don't do much of, whether it be for TV and I need it to last for 12 hours, I make sure that always starts with a good foundation, which is skincare. I definitely can't work on set without working with Makeup Forever. It's one of my staples foundations. Like, it goes well. The HD foundation is incredible, and now they have done great things with the matte velvet. It has changed, and it's just the color range, which the beauty industry is changing as far as welcoming every range of colors, which back then there wasn't no many brands, which I started with MAC. It's always been a thing that I've never had an issue picking colors. But Makeup Forever has definitely stepped their game up as far as the range of colors. They've always been great, but their quality of makeup. And NARS Cosmetics. NARS and Becca. Those three, if I was to be in a stranded island and I needed 3 products, it would definitely be from those 3 brands. I see a lot of the glass skin being a trend right now, which I love because it's basically just a step up from dewy skin. And because I like skincare, I like that look of just no makeup. I love what the glass skin look gives. It makes you look like you slept 9 hours, like you hydrate every day and you drink your whole gallon of water a day. So glass skin is definitely one of the trends right now. I think another trend that is happening right now, and I'm very happy for, is man makeup. Man wearing makeup is a thing that wasn't there when I was growing up. I see my nephews and I see my younger cousins now, and they're so welcoming to literally boys in their high school wearing full face of makeup, lashes, and everything. And now I see more brands like Chanel is actually now carrying it's about to start, I don't know if they already started, but an actual brand packaged and welcoming men for their grooming needs. So I think that's a trend that is on the growth, and it's becoming less of a taboo thing. It's becoming more welcoming. Like, men can wear makeup too. If I was to give my 20-year-old self an advice, will be to be free, not to be scared. I used to be so focused on what people thought of me because of being a gay man and also a person of color, gay, living in a city that was majority growing up like it was Atlanta at 21 when I moved here. It's predominantly, just Atlanta is very much minority. It's mainly a lot of minorities here. But I was so worried because of the machismo that is in the Latin community, or the hypermasculinity in just in our communities. So I will tell my 20-year-old self to just be free, because once you silence the noise. Once you silence the noise, you are unstoppable. How many things? 2 things that most people don't know about me. A lot of people forget that I'm not from America, that I'm a foreigner, that I'm Mexican as I can get. But I don't know if it's, a lot of people forget that when they meet me first. I get every kind of race but me being Spanish. So 2 things just to remind people. I'm Latino, and I'm very, very proud of it. And I'm very proud of my roots and coming from nothing and growing into basically everything I work hard for. So that's one thing. And another thing, I am crazy cuckoo free. Like, I say things that sometimes people say, you shouldn't say. But that's what makes me, and I feel like that's what people that are closest to me love me for. I've always been very free in just speaking. I think that comes from my mother. But I'm crazy cuckoo free, and I'm a Latino, 100% proud. I think I will tell them not to worry about the celebrity factor of it all. It's something that a lot of people think that's what you need to break into the best artistry of, the best artist you can be. And it's not true. I thought to myself at a young age, I felt that once I got into a celebrity, I will get out there. And granted, it did help me some, because I came from Love and Hip Hop, which I love Mona Scott. Shout out to her. She started my career. But it really isn't it. Now that I'm a baby in comparison to some artists that have been doing this for 20, 30 years and generational. Now at 8 years later, I see that celebrity makeup is not the thing. It's not where it's at. You can be great at bridal, and you can make a bank, so much money out of that, and be the best bridal makeup artist every city will know. You can be the best at working at retail. You can own your own store. You can be the best at, there's so many lanes for beauty, and the beauty industry is changing as we see it because of the need for, we live in a very vain and perfect seeking society right now. Everybody wants to filter, everybody wants to look perfect on Instagram. So the makeup industry is changing, and I feel that as a young artist, people need to be willing to be molded into what's happening with the times. If you don't, you're really cheating your artistry. So I will tell younger artists to not focus so much on the celebrity and focus more on your skill. When you do that, you are going to be unstoppable, because nobody can say, whether you work with a celebrity or you work with Mary from down the block, you are doing great in either or. And word of mouth is a great thing. You're going to get out there regardless.
So, I personally have the question, how do you take care of that long, beautiful hair?
How do I take care of this long, beautiful hair? I'm very I actually have very low maintenance with my hair, which a lot of my friends that are hairstylists get mad at me, why don't you brush your hair or do something with your hair? I don't do enough with it, but I don't. I let other people take care of it. I really don't. I don't do much. I just make sure I moisturize it a lot. Moroccan oil.
So I know people are going to ask that question, because everybody asks.
I hope they do.